Good morning. So today we will talk about some important ideas that discusses what's happening today in our world in the lenses of politics and how countries deal with each other. We will talk about Trumpism, we will talk about MAGA discourse, and the core idea of this presentation, which is the cheap and costly talk. Okay, so this is our roadmap for this presentation. We'll start with the introduction, then we will state the problem, the literature review, methodology, and the analysis. So, what is Trumpism? Trumpism is basically a specific way of doing politics. It's to make a certain group of people to follow it by focusing on three things. First, to feel strongly about their country, which we call it nationalism. Second, to hate the connecting countries in the world, which we call it anti-elitism, and to hate the powerful leaders that ruling this world, which we call it anti-elitism, and the previous one we call it anti-globalization. So MAGA, which is closely related to Trumpism, it's an acronym which stands for Make America Great Again. It was the Donald Trump main slogan campaign, and it's basically about wanting to go back to a time when America was great again. So, our research problem is to understand the nuances of communication and Donald Trump's rhetoric, and to discover the cheap and costly talk in his political discourse, especially in social media, because we all know that Trump using Twitter extensively. Okay, so literature review, MAGA discourse. So first we will talk about MAGA discourse. It includes, of course, the narratives, the symbols, the language of the MAGA, but here we will focus on the political aspect of MAGA discourse. The political aspect of MAGA discourse has four main ideas. First, it has the future vision, that is to bring back the old industries like factories, and in the same time to support the new industries like AI. Okay, then we have the very important part of MAGA discourse, which is protectionism. Okay, this means that in order to protect American companies from competition of the other countries' companies, Donald Trump has imposed tariffs, which is taxes on all the items imported from other countries, and in the same time to encourage the production in the United States. The last part of MAGA discourse is to make America the place for all investment from all over the world. Okay. So as we talked, protectionism is a very important part of MAGA discourse, and tariffs, which is taxes that Donald Trump imposed on the items imported from other countries, is the main tool for this protectionism plan. So Donald Trump is talking about big tariffs like 10%, 20% on all the imported items from all the countries, about 25% on Canada and Mexico, which were actually once trade allies for United States, and 60% on China. Now, economists think that these tariffs might increase the prices and hurt the overall economy, which is true. We all notice these consequences. And in the same time, according to Donald Trump claims, he thinks that these tariffs will make America great again, of course, and will will help the American economy. Okay, now we will come to cheap and costly talk. Cheap talk and costly talk are parts of the game theory, okay, and the receiver-sender game, which is about, first of all, we will define cheap talk. Cheap talk is when the person communicate without actual consequences, and without it's not binding, and it's like bluffing or empty promises. While the costly talk, it has actually real consequences and commitments, and the sender usually, and the sender and receiver game, has a private information that the receiver don't have, which makes him when he communicate, he might expose all the information, or he might expose some of the information that he will benefit from. Okay, we have literature review. Okay, political discourse and the media discourse are very important parts of our research. We examine Trump's rhetoric in political discourse and in media discourse. As we know, media discourse is the narratives and discourse within the media platforms and by political actors. Which we mentioned before, that Donald Trump using Twitter very extensively. Okay, now we will talk about diplomacy and power. Diplomacy is how countries dealing with each other and using their plans, okay, to oppose their power. And of course, these negotiations are depending mostly on how the country is powerful. And for example, America, of course, the most powerful country of the world, when it imposes tariffs on other countries, it's considered to be threats. Now we will talk about coercive diplomacy. Coercive diplomacy is a strategy when the country uses pressure, forces, military forces, and sometimes offers to achieve what's wanted. So we have first forces like military forces or economic pressure, which we call it sanctions, or when a country don't talk to another country, which we call it political isolation. Okay, in cheap and costly talk. Okay, so now we will talk about our methodology and data compiling. Okay, so for my research, although it's not completed yet, I started to analyzing the social media platforms like Twitter, like Facebook, and other Instagram, for example, Reels and Posts, and I gathered the Donald Trump's statements speeches, and his interactions with other political figures. Okay. Okay. For our analysis, we use frame semantics, which is a linguistic theory that it's about how the words are not isolated for the dictionary meaning, but it's creating a frame in the receiver's mind, and it depends on the situation, of course, and the political speech. Okay. Now we gathered these political speeches, and we emphasizes or we analyzes the key lexical words, okay, and how many times they were repeated in the same video or in other videos, and in the same time or in different time, and in different political situations. Okay. As I said before, my research is not completed yet, so I don't have the conclusion. But I can tell you that the word tariffs alone was repeated in one video by Donald Trump himself 25 times. So you can imagine how many cheap talks Donald Trump has in his rhetoric. And thank you.